Hello and welcome to Powerful, the Power Metal Podcast. We're here once again with my good friend Kyle.
You didn't say the thing.
I didn't say the thing. What thing?
The thing we say at the start of literally every episode.
Oh, you're right. Yeah.
God damn it.
Sorry. Okay, I already fucked it up. Awesome. Do you want to do it?
I guess I can.
Sorry. No, I can do it. Hold on. I can do it. I'll do it again.
I believe in you.
Sup Nerds, welcome to Powerful, the Power Metal Podcast. We're here once again with a group. we're here once again.
This is harder than it looks.
Yeah. Sorry.
Don't worry, I've done stuff like this before. I know how hard
it's been like a month or more. Again, one.
It's so good.
Final one. Sup Nerds, welcome to Powerful, the Power Metal Podcast. I'm here once again with my good friend Kyle.
Hello.
And now we have a couple guests. Please, guests, introduce yourselves for the audience.
Hello, I'm Matt. I'm the lead singer of Fellowship.
And I'm Callum, the lead drummer of Fellowship.
Lead drummer.
Awesome.
I suppose we don't have any other singers either, so yeah, I don't know why I said.
That's great.
Nice.
All right. So everyone that's been listening to the show should know that we are big fans of Fellowship. We have them before on the show when we were doing the video live streams. We did the most chaotic video live stream with the full band on before. Now we're doing it a bit easier to follow and to do with just two of them on our regular audio format. Just a nice, calm conversation.
It's been almost exactly 2 years since we talked to these guys. I think it was June of 2020. So it's just when we were all just freshly into the pandemic and like, this will be over soon, right? And happy to finally have them here after 2 years of endless battles.
Yeah.
God, those 2 years have gone so quick. Like, it doesn't even seem that long ago that there was like 8 or 9 of us just sitting in that web call.
Make us feel old, why don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Sadly.
God, it has been ages, hasn't it? Wow.
Yeah.
So it's weird because it doesn't feel, at least to me, Cal might feel differently, but it doesn't feel to me like we've been in Fellowship for 2 years, like at all. You know?
Nah, like I was looking at the release dates of that cover we did, and I was like, geez, like that was actually like over 2 years now. Like it feels weird that like we're older than 2 years now as a band.
Yeah.
But you had time. You've had all this time, and you made a full album now after that little cover that started it all. And I don't think that's slow. I think that's pretty good, honestly.
Yeah, 2 years to make an album is kind of fine, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
It's we don't want to make like excuses or anything, but it's a pretty long album. Like it's
no.
It's just over an hour.
It's no excuses like that. It makes sense. It all makes sense. Don't worry about it.
I think it was because we released the EP as like 3 songs, and we knew then that we were going to include those songs on the album. We didn't want to release like an album and then not give an album's worth of content when we dropped it. If you're going to do the album's thing, then to me, I think you should, you've got to make sure there's enough content for the album to have like impact.
I think it's pretty generous of you to think like that, honestly. But before we go full on deep on the album, there's a very important question that we need to ask you that we've asked you before, but people change over time, so it's worth asking.
I know what's coming.
Guys, we need to know your top 4 power metal bands.
Matt, do you want to go first? I'll let you go first.
I haven't thought about this at all. I didn't know this. I forgot this was coming. I
knew this was going to come up.
I've totally forgotten.
It's always there.
Wait, Fernando, you're meant to do one of those like long like paragraphs like of like stupid like description like things like from the realms of Valhalla.
Hail, mighty warriors! Welcome to the Power Metal Podcast. Please bestow upon the council of thine top 4 power metal bands. Is that better?
That was great.
That's good. Yeah, I can answer now. Okay, all right, I'll go first then. Okay. Galnerius. They're one of mine for sure. I I haven't really known of them for that long, to be honest, but like, from what I've heard of those guys, like, they're really, really good.
Oh yeah, they're excellent.
And consistent. And I have to say, I was never like, I never really listened to like their older stuff, so I only really knew of them with like their most recent vocalist. I think it was the song "Silent Revelation" or something came on by them, and like their old vocalist, like the one that like is a lot more deep.
Yeah,
I really like that. It's kind of unique because you don't really hear that in like Japanese like power metal vocalists, at least anyway. So yeah, Galnerius for me, they're one of my favourites at the moment. Rhapsody, I've been listening to them a lot lately. Listening to tons of Glory Hammer at work.
Nice.
All good choices, and all I think just very appropriate for your guys' style too. It's always number 4.
I think last time I think I mentioned Pathfinder, and that was the controversial pick. But like,
yeah, that either
They have
gets
good
you
stuff.
a ton of points or some minus points depending who hears it.
they're not my 4th. I'm not going to mention them because I haven't actually listened to them for ages. My 4th band is probably going to be. I'm going to have to say Twilight Force. I'm sticking with them. Like, they're one of my favourites in power metal. They always will be.
That's fine. That's perfect. That you can like what you like. It's fine. You just go with your heart.
Yeah, you always keep the one close to your heart, and I think that that works.
Yeah, Matt, go on.
All right.
Your top.
Now I have the extra difficult thing of not just recycling some of Cal's picks because they're all great. I think D'Artagnan.
Ooh.
If we call them power metal, I have a real thing for the D'Artagnan style. I know that's like slightly off kilter, or like I don't know if it's controversial. I just find them very happy, and I like the sort of vibe of D'Artagnan quite a lot.
Yeah, like they have like the fun folky vibe.
Yeah, like we'll get to it later, but like the song I wrote on the album is very like, it's like the closest we get to D'Artagnan, so I've been listening to that for like 6 months and just sort of like really vibing with the like folk power metal stuff. Then what else do I really like? Do I put Brothers on Metal? Probably not.
They have some bangers. They've got some bangers.
They have some bangers, but they're like, it's like certain albums by them I think are like up there, and then other albums I just sort of can't remember when I think about it. Not necessarily in a bad way, just sort of like they haven't like clicked with me in the same way.
I really like that song. They did a video for it not even that long ago. I think it's called like Kornaz Dagaz, or I don't even know.
The one that I
can't
can't pronounce, but that one's really good.
Yeah,
I love that. That's
sick.
my favourite.
I love that album generally, except Power Snake is just too much for me. Like all of the songs are great, and then Power Snake is just Power Snake. It's like, it's slightly too much.
It sounds like you like it to me.
Yeah,
it's just always in my head.
You know all the songs. You know all
I
those.
love Seven Spires.
Oh, Seven Spires are lovely.
That's a good choice.
Yeah, I love
That's
Seven
a
Spires.
great
They're
choice.
Great. If it's another one of the ones that's like, is it power metal? Is it not power metal? But like Moron Police, their stuff, the closer they get to power metal, the more I like them. So I'm gonna go with Moron Police and be like,
I'll take it.
that.
Yeah, they kind of drift around styles, and it's vaguely reminiscent of power metal sometimes. So fuck it.
Yeah, but the stuff that is power metal is like, top tier, my absolute favorite.
For sure.
Oh god, what else do I put in here?
I think that was 4. If I
was that
forgot how
4?
to count.
Beautiful, great. Yeah, I said I wasn't going to use BOM, but we're using BOM. But great, done.
Nailed it. All right.
Nice.
Well, lovely picks. I think there's some consistent ones there from a couple years ago and some new ones, so I can dig that.
Oh no, sorry. I want to change one. I do want to change one.
Oh,
okay.
I want to change Brothers of Metal to Martian Station.
I'm not familiar with that.
yeah.
They are a tiny Japanese band that me and Cal both love, and I wish they were recorded properly. Their recordings are so badly produced, but the songs are so good.
I need to look this up later.
Yeah.
Martian Station?
Yeah, you should check.
They're really, really small. They're tiny, and like their production is horrendous. But they're actually like I like they do some interesting stuff. I'll say that.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find actual like the band and not
it's
just
hard.
actual Martian stations.
It's hard to find.
Sorry, Martian as in Marchen. Marchen.
Oh,
Martian.
Yeah.
Can I ask you guys your current top 4?
Oh man, people don't ask us very often.
yeah. This doesn't.
I know. That's why I'm asking that question.
All right. What do I usually say? So for me, Blind Guardian is the number one. They're always at the top. They always will be. After that, I'd probably put Lost Horizon, Rhapsody, and the fourth one tends to kind of come and go, but I'm going to say Dragon Force.
Cool.
Ah, all right.
I've never actually.
Big mix there.
Yeah, it's a good choices. I've never actually answered this question.
With all the stuff that's happened in the Discord and on the podcast, you've never actually answered this.
No, I've never given
God.
my top 4.
Oh God, this is big deal right here.
Yeah, I'm bad.
All right,
with
how
tops.
about this, Fernando?
I'm bad with
Like
top
instead
4s.
of like, can I ask then? Like, so instead of a top 4, let's say there's four bands that are in your top 4, but could you name 2 of them? Like, or name like one of your absolute favorites?
I can mention, like, I'm bad with favorites in general, but I can say that one of my top 4 bands is probably Dragon Force, just because I keep re-listening to them all the time.
Yeah, they got like they're another consistent band, aren't they? They just what you can get.
Yeah, and then Galnerius, because I don't know, I really like listening to just entire live shows from Galnerius. There's a lot of them on YouTube, and it's like my go-to. I need something to listen to right now that's like an hour long. Let's put a Galnerius show on.
Yeah,
and it's great.
Yeah.
Just
They're
an hour of
astonishingly good
bangers and shredding.
Yeah, and they sound so good live. That's the main thing that I really like.
Yeah. What do you think of the like? So you know what I'm saying about like the 2 vocalists they had, or maybe they've had more than 2, but like I think one of them's called Yama B, and I think the other one's called Show. Or something like that. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Which one do you prefer? I mean, they're obviously completely different.
They are completely different, so I cannot compare them. I like both of them doing what they do. Yeah. They do different things. They both do it great.
They're both like top of their game.
Yeah. Just listening to all the stuff, because they maybe Yamabi doesn't do which one. I confuse their names sometimes, but the current one. He does more stuff outside of Galnerius, and it's all really great too. And
does he?
I learned recently that he's actually a vocal coach of several idol groups in Japan. He's like the sensei for a lot of the idol groups, like teaching them how to belt.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
but like he must be amazingly like talented, like as a vocalist, because like he's not exactly young, is he? And he's singing like intense power metal like for 2 hours straight at some of their shows.
Yeah, but that happens when you do everything properly. Like you're not just like forcing it and pulling, like brute forcing singing. You're like, I'm actually taking care and studying and doing everything properly. That means you just get better and better and better, instead of blowing up your voice halfway through when you're like 40. Yeah, because he's probably late 40s or 50s, I think.
He is on the older side of metal vocalists, 50. I think.
He looks older. 50. Yeah, he looks older than he is.
I mean, he doesn't sound even close to that.
He's 55. He's 55.
I just looked it up. Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah, there it is.
Like that says a lot though. Like if he's like in down areas and singing stuff like that at that age.
Yeah, and they are all in their 50s except for Shu and the drummer, who's like a kid now.
Well, the drummer's like a new one. He just joined.
Yeah, that's kind of the same situation as Angra, where they have a drummer that's so young that the band has been active as long as the drummer has been alive.
Right, so we got Dragon Force and Galnerius. The 2 great picks there.
Yeah, I don't know what to go with then. With I guess the reunion Galneri, the reunion Rhapsody, just to cheat there.
We'll just say Rhapsody, I guess. Yeah, it's very all encompassing.
Yeah, but the specific lineup for doing the songs of the reunion tour.
So all the best Rhapsody.
All the best Rhapsody, yeah. And then I don't know. I would say I can say Fellowship, actually.
Oh, we made the list. We made the
there
list.
it is. Quite the company you keep there.
Yeah, seems
You know,
they
as soon-
have
as
to
soon
go
as this-
top 4.
As soon as this call's done, like Fernando's gonna edit that out.
Just put in something else.
Yeah, just overwritten. She was like, yeah, I can add like Glory Hammer, just badly edited.
Insert band here.
Really badly dubbed. Like have the beginning of the F and then like
Yeah.
cut in the middle of the like sibilant.
No, but for real, I really like the stuff that you guys do. I actually don't. I'm probably, if you ask me about my top 4, you see, I need to think about it a lot. I don't go around selecting bands and sorting them in order. I just listen to a bunch of songs and I like, and that's it.
Yeah, I get you. I kind of do the same sort of thing. Like I said, I'll put a band on. I'll just pick a random band that I like, and I'll put them on shuffle when I'm at work. And
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
you know, that's just how it goes.
Yeah.
I like just a lot of different bands.
All right. Well, speaking of Fellowship's music, should we dive into this year album, the Saberlight Chronicles?
Let's go for it.
All right. So, in 2020, you guys released your EP, handful of songs on it, and you knew you were going to be going into a proper full album eventually. What was the thinking like for you guys? Okay, here's what we've learned from making this first few songs. Here's the direction we want to move in the future. Did you respond or see how people responded to it and take that into account? Or was this just kind of always the plan to move forward with how the album turned out?
I think there are like sort of two different answers to this question. One of them is like musically, what did we learn about what people like responded to in our songs? And the other is like as a band, what did we learn or change about our sort of approach to being a band? Like what was our ethos, our sort of idea going into the EP, and whether that like idea changed for the album? I think musically, Cal will be able to do a much better job of explaining it, but like I think people responded firstly more than we expected, but also like to specific things in our music that I don't think any of us like, none of us like knew that, say, the post-chorus in Glint was going to be something that people were like, oh, like we maybe had an inkling because we all liked it, but none of us were like, wow, that's crazy. That
always been worthy.
This is going to be the thing. Yeah. But then on the other side, like I think we went into the EP just sort of desperate to release something. We were really excited about what we were making at the time, and the sort of like the first sort of steps as musicians together, and we just wanted to put something into the world. And then power metal for us is kind of, I know a lot of bands are doing the like single by single thing, and sort of slowly the music industry is dispensing with albums generally.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's a very valid like marketing approach. But for us, I think it became very clear, not just after the EP, but even kind of when we were doing the EP, that the narrative idea, the like collection of songs thing, felt pretty good to us as a group. And I think it was very much like a decision to chase the sort of longer form album.
Having that complete package type of feel.
Yeah, exactly. We wanted to present, maybe at least for the first sort of proper thing that we did after the EP, I think we really wanted to present like a unified sort of, this is Fellowship, this is our statement to the world, this is our like first go. And then obviously after that, things will change. We've not thought about it since then, but yeah, that would be my answer. Cal, if you want to go.
Matt, just continue talking for like one more minute. I'm just going to quickly nip for a wee.
You are not allowed to edit that out. You are not allowed. That
Matt,
stays
keep
in.
stalling.
Keep stalling. Yeah, well, I mean, so I can't talk a bit about the music stuff. So like, the response to the EP was very overwhelming for us in a lot of ways, and we did like everything ourselves on the EP. We had a producer, and it's the same producer for the whole album. But like the video and stuff, all of the like release timeline, the marketing, if you can call it that, all of that stuff was us. And we came out of that process being like, wow, that was really intense. Let's not do that again. And then we sort of did it again. And obviously we have a label now, which is really nice. Scarlet have been so good to us. They are a godsend. But at the same time, like we're still making the music videos ourselves for the most part. We're still, like we filmed Oak and Ash in my shed. So in terms of the way we make music, in terms of the way we approach like the creative process and stuff, not that much has changed, honestly.
Okay, nice.
Did we buy Cal enough time?
I don't know. Maybe he's probably still whittling. Yeah, he's a great fan. I'll talk about what else. Do you have another question? What should I talk about?
All right. Well, yeah, I guess I can move into
the one thing I will actually no. There is something I can say, which is that I thought it was really good, and we never really discussed this, but I thought I was really proud of the guys in the band for this. But we didn't pretty much at any point after Glint go, we need another Glint. We never went like, we have to repeat this thing. We have to, we never stopped trying to make the music that we wanted, and we never sort of started tailoring the way we make things to the successes that had come before. And I think if we'd done that at such an early point as just the EP, that could have had a really detrimental effect on the eventual album. I think you can do that like after an album. You can go like, people respond to this, that's great. But I don't think there was enough content in the EP for us to definitively go, we need to just sort of repeat this. We need to just keep doing this.
It would be kind of premature to say, yep, that's the thing right there before we're even even gotten started.
But it's always tempting to do that. It's like always so tempting. But I'm really proud that pretty much no one did that. We just kept writing the songs that we wanted to write.
Yeah, that's great, because that can really can hurt you. It's like, oh, we made a hit, we just need to clone this over and over, and then most likely that makes everyone go, oh, it's the same song all over again, and they stop paying attention to you. Like, not everyone can be Sabaton about it.
Yeah, listening to the full album, there's a lot of songs on it, but I don't think any of them were strictly like, okay, this is the one that's trying to be Glint. Obviously, there's connections to it, especially with Oak and Ash, which kind of ties into like the whole sort of conceptual part of the album. Was that always planned to have, like a callback or call forward? Or was that just like hey, we can turn this into a thing and not be like too much like ripping off ourselves?
Before I answer that, Cal, I think wants to say something.
I missed a bit because I missed. Yeah, sorry, what was the question?
Sorry, Cal sent me a message like 2 seconds ago saying I've got to excuse myself for 5 minutes, and now he's like, "What's the question?"
We were just discussing kind of just the changes or lack thereof in terms of moving from the EP to writing the full album, and what you took away from that, and how we're moving forward. Yeah. So going off what Matt said, like I don't think any of us expected like the reaction that we got from like just the general sort of power metal consensus. We got like a lot of positive like reviews and comments, which was just like none of us expected, and like especially as well from like some of the bigger bands that they like reached out to us and shared us and stuff like that. But like so from moving from those EP songs onto the album, it was like a case of trying to take the same sort of style of writing, I think, but not trying to repeat ourselves, like obviously. So kind of keeping things fresh, which is it's handy because like I'd consider there to be really like, I know Matt wrote one of the songs on the album. I consider like there to be like sort of like me as a songwriter, and then you got Sam as a songwriter, and then on top of that you have Matt writing all the lyrics. So you've got like from the EP we had what was there? There was Glint,
Hours and Hearts,
Hours of Winter Time, and Hearts. Yeah. So 2 of those songs were my ones, and then we've obviously released Oak and Ash now, which is like that was a Sam song. You can probably tell since it's like a lot more guitar centric. Yeah, it's interesting how you can almost tell the difference, like with the Cal songs and the Sam songs. Sam's are usually very guitar heavy, which shocker, he's the guitarist.
Let's use the proper terminology. They are anime as fuck.
It's astonishing because Sam has only just started watching anime, like this week.
Oh, really?
But he's been listening to like anime music for ages, just because he's like found it, hasn't really known what it is, and been like, I dig this. So
yeah,
that's so pure.
So the point I was getting to anyway was like, I know that Sam is like a really good songwriter, and I've heard what he's done, so I knew like moving forwards we're gonna have like on top of like the songwriting which people like, which is like Glint, Hearts, and Hours, which is obviously the EP, and the majority of that was like stuff that I'd written, obviously with Matt's lyrics. I knew moving forward what Sam's got like that like in like the storage like ready to like release. So I knew, people were going to love it because it's kind of like the same sort of thing as what we'd already done, but it's like, it's going in a different direction, if that makes sense, with all like the technical guitar stuff that he does, which I wouldn't have a clue on how to do that stuff. Like, I'm not a guitarist at all. I would not have a clue how to make like a good riff or anything like that. I always have to message him and say like, does this make sense on guitar? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
But yeah, it was just like, once we released the EP, it was just like, keep things fresh, keep it kind of similar direction. And, we can't really go, too wrong, I don't think.
I think it's cool that we can tell, like, when we were listening to the album, to the preview, and it was like, okay, there's clearly two main songwriting voices in this album.
Yeah.
But it still clearly all belongs to the same band and the same identity overall. So I think it's working very well.
So that was a concern I had, because I was thinking like, is it, because obviously I'm part of the band and Sam's obviously part of the band, so it's hard for us to judge our own work. So it's hard for us to distinguish whether is it too far from what, people kind of know about us already. But we were just like, this is like, this is Sam's way of writing, and it does fit with what we've already done. So, we're just going to go with that,
One of the cool things was, there were a couple of songs we were like uncertain of as to how, quote, fellowship they were. And I know my song was included in this, and I think there were a couple of others. I know there was at least one Sam song. I don't think Cal's songs are like just Cal songs. They're like that is kind of Fellowship's core vibe. But there were a couple of these songs, and we were slightly unsure about them. We go into the studio. We come out at the end of the day of the studio, and whatever studio process we were doing was very like solidifying in terms of that sound. And we would go in, and all the doubts would just be gone like 2 hours in. And that was a really nice feeling to have, where it just sort of validated the direction we were collectively going in as a group, which was really nice to have.
Was it when you had everybody there, everybody recording their parts, and you can see the pieces coming together where you say, oh yeah, this is it?
Yeah, we didn't have everyone recording in the studio. Our studio stuff was basically just like drums and vocals, and then we would put the rest together outside of the studio, and then we'd go for like mixing days. But yeah, once we put the drums on, like, so... if I take my song as an example, just because I can talk about it the most, that felt less like a Fellowship song than the rest of them, because I cannot write drums to save my life. I have Sam tells me it's really simple. Cal tells me that like you could just just like you use established patterns, but it just doesn't go well in my brain. So most of the like when I'm writing a song either for Fellowship or anything else, I'm writing a power metal song and there's no drums like at all, not until the last minute. And then hearing the song like with proper drums, which was I'd heard it before on the day because I just asked Sam to like, Sam, can you make me drums, please do the drums for me. But yeah, it's like hearing it for the first time made it's that difference between just being a song that you've written and that you believe in and a song that feels part of the band.
Your song in particular, being the Saint Beyond the River, doesn't it basically start with next to no drums because you're just singing the chorus lots and lots and lots? That
is very much a side effect of the way I write rather than a deliberate writing decision.
I see.
I really like that start.
It's deliberate at the end. It works. It's just like that
works.
Will have come about because I don't write drums. So I will have written something that didn't need it,
Yeah, makes sense. Makes sense.
What was the question you asked earlier? Sorry, we've sort of stepped on one of your questions.
We kind of skipped over like the connection between, say, Oak and Ash and Glint.
Oh yeah, so that's really interesting. I'm glad we didn't miss that one. So Oak was a song that had no connection to Glint at all until like a week before we went into the studio, and I remember I was doing the vocal demos for her, just like tidying them up, and I just like heard it in my head over that one bit, and I begged Sam to put it in, and I know that Cal was like slightly unsure of whether it would fit because the song is like otherwise completely different, and it did. And then it was around this kind of time that I was doing all the like lore stuff, which I'm sure we'll get to later. Right. But it just, at that point, it really, the sort of idea of the Saberlight Chronicles as an album rather than a collection of songs really took off at that point. And then, I think it was that process that sort of evolved eventually into the recall at the end, where we, like right at the end of Avalon, there's this sort of like chime version of it. And yeah, I think that was the stuff that made it really feel like a sort of grander project than the sum of its parts.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think Avalon kind of calls back to things like that. Even like the ending of that song talks about like storming within the gates or something like that too.
I enjoyed writing that lyric. That brought me a lot of joy.
That's great. I think it's good that you took that step to turn it into a bit more than just a collection of songs, because that's a gripe that I have with a lot of albums when it's just, this is just a playlist.
Yeah.
And now I think when I was listening to it for the first time and I was catching these little reuse of little melodies or the callbacks in some of the lyrics, and it was like, I think I thought that you had like last minute added those, but they don't really take away from any of the songs on their own. So I think it was a good choice to do that, because it makes it more rewarding to listen to the whole album, I think, at least.
Nice. That's really nice to hear. That's good.
Yeah. I think pacing wise on the album too, it does a good job kind of going between different moods, if you will, because like you'll have like pretty much it always trades off with like Cal's song, Sam's song. But you'll have like a more positive one followed by maybe a slower or more melancholy one, which then gets followed up by an even more positive one to kind of bring you back. And so that contrast helps.
It's something like I remember we had a lot of group calls like late at night, like, and they'd go on for hours sometimes with the whole band. And Matt, do you remember like we used to be like, okay, like, we need to, like, the next song after this one on the album, it has to be this sort of style to follow in with everything.
I remember, because I was pushing so hard for the song that became Atlas. Like, I needed, like, at that point, we were really close to the end of the writing process. So I was like, for the album so I'm going to nerd out for a second.
Go for it.
Sure.
The album has, like, lore next to it, and it's got a book next to it.
Right.
But like, if we sort of park that for a second, just hold that in the back of your head. The album also, and this was why I was so passionate about this, reflects the natural cadence of a story. And sorry, this is like so nerdy, but like every story that you've ever read has like, it has like defined sections. And the act of storytelling, when storytelling is done well, has defined sections. You have like, you can think of it like beginning, middle, end, but in literature, you'd usually think of it like beginning, falling action, denouement, and then climax, and then the actual end of the album. And because of the way we ended up structuring the songs, and because of all these like late night calls, the album, at least to me, mirrors that slightly more detailed like narrative pathway in terms of the emotions it does, in terms of even just like the songwriting voices between Sam and Cal, where Cal, his voice is very defined at the start of the album. And then and even Sam's song that is like the number sort of 2, so like Atlas, is more towards Cal's style of songs. It's more sort of like period piece medievally. And then in the middle, it like shifts, it goes down the more sort of anime route, and it has that like sort of sectional vibe. And then you've got the folk song coming in and the ballad before it then reaches into the sort of like long climax that then falls back into the sort of like closing sort of epilogue of the album. I don't know if anyone cares about that, but like to me that makes me like very, very happy.
Yeah, I definitely kind of picked up on that listening to it, where like your standard story structure, you can kind of say, you know, act 1, act 2, act 3. Here's like the darkest hour. Here's like the, you know, picking up from that. Here's the climax. I think having like I think it's Hours of Wintertime, which is kind of like an oh shit, we're kind of fucked moment, both like in the actual book, and then also just kind of as one of the like more, I guess, quote unquote sad songs for Fellowship, going into just, you know, the beacon of positivity that is Glint, and then the stupid catchiness that is Saint Beyond the River. It all kind of works. Then you have like one more quiet moment with the ballad, and then picking back up into the climax with Still Enough in Avalon. So that all those like peaks and valleys are there, and I think that's what makes this as an album much smarter than just a collection of songs.
Oh, I feel so fuzzy.
Thank you so much. Yeah, that was really nice.
Yeah, so it works. Good job.
Yeah.
One interesting thing I wanted to talk about, this kind of builds off of that, but are there any particular musical or even lyrical, maybe little details you put into the album, things that you really wanted to fight for, but you didn't think anyone might even notice, but you want to call attention to?
Cal, do you want to go first on the music side of things?
Yeah, I'm just thinking like, so there's not specifically anything, but like there's so this is going to sound a bit weird, but like one of my like favorite bands, like, and in terms of like songwriters and stuff, is like, it's going to sound weird, it's like Avenged Sevenfold, and a lot of the stuff that they've like done, I kind of some of the things they've used, like I've implemented some of that sort of stuff into like our writing, and I know Sam has done that as well, because like that's one of his favorite bands as well. There's some things in Avalon specifically, which are kind of a little Avenged Sevenfold-y. Like, I don't know if you guys know much about that band at all. They're nothing.
I listened to Beast and the Harlot when I was like 11 because of Guitar Hero, but that's about as far as that goes for me.
I really like A Little Piece of Heaven, which I know it's not representative of the band.
Yeah. Like, I was just trying to think if there was anything specific that I could think that was like
if there's something, you know, that you were like, I want to put this in here, I want to do this way, even though I know probably no one will ever notice, but I will notice.
Then there must be something I've done. Hang on, let me have a little think. Matt, have you got anything off the top of your head?
I don't know if this is one of the bits for you, but we fought about Still Enough for so long. Like,
oh, really?
Like Cal, the back and forth on Still Enough was like, God, it must have been a month at least.
So that one, like that was intentionally like made. Like I was specifically like trying to make that in a certain way, so it was like very different from everything else on the album. And if that makes sense, because it's kind of got a little bit of a, I don't know, maybe not as much tension, I guess is the word. But it's still got like the same sort of vibe. But melodically, yeah, like me and Matt were like constantly just throwing ideas at each other, like, and you know, every time I was like, "Oh, this is it, it's gonna work." Matt would write lyrics to it, and it just wouldn't really make much sense in terms of like the melody to the lyrics of that. And then Matt would come back to me, and we must have spent like, I don't know, how long do you reckon, Matt? Like,
I think it was probably like close to a month of like either every day or every other day, which is quite weird because Still Enough is by no means one of the more like focal points on the album. It was just the one that we sort of, I think we were so close to the finished album at that point. The album was I think, was that actually the last song we did? Might have been. Possibly. But like the album was maybe so defined at that point in how it sounded that we had to like fit the song to the album rather than maybe the other way around.
Right.
I really, really like the it's like the bridge going into the solo on that song. That's like, I think that's one of my favorites. Like vocally as well, I think, from you, Matt. It feels like there's a lot of emotion. Like, I don't know.
A very like particular part of Still Enough that kind of stood out to me, I think it's near the start. The way Matt says the word apathy is like aggressive.
I hate apathy with every fiber of my being. Like
There were
conceptually.
times, man, when we were in the studio and you'd be singing it one way, like you'd sing it like one way one time, and then like when it was like recorded, like you'd sing it another way, and it'd be a lot more just straightforward song, and you'd be like, okay, that's good. I'm like, no, sing it the other way, like how you did before, like like the aggressive way.
Yeah.
But that happened on a few songs. Like, there was another one.
Trust in the same song.
Oh yeah.
We did the amount of time. I was just like, no one will know this yet, but when people eventually hear the song, there's this bit where it's like it's in the bridge that Cal likes, sort of trust that I'll be strong enough. I must have sung the word trust like 50 times in that session, just trying to get the like perfect little sort of like bite on it.
Well, that happens, and it's good that you actually care about that, not just about hitting the notes, but delivering the proper sentiment.
There's got to be some feeling.
Yeah,
there's got to be feeling to it.
Yeah.
One thing I want to ask you guys about too is perhaps something you have to do, perhaps something you really wanted to do. You have a ballad on your power metal album.
I'm sorry.
Fuck me. So Silhouette is a slow song. How dare you?
How dare we?
Oh man.
Yeah, I
Jackson Warrior's gonna hate me.
Yeah, I don't know how Cal feels about it. I adore Silhouette. I love it to pieces. I think it's one of those songs where it doesn't, like, it definitively isn't what most of the people who listen to Fellowship will go looking for ever. But I think it's something that I, at least very sort of like personally speaking, needed on the album. I really wanted a song that was Fellowship, but also a little bit more of a break in the album, a bit more sort of pacing.
I have to agree with you there.
Partially because of all the lore stuff, but also just because, like, I find it really difficult to listen to to put on a power metal album and listen to the whole thing, because it's very fast. The beats are, like, quite overwhelming, and things occasionally blur together just because of the nature of the genre. And I really wanted our album to not do that. If like we were talking about things that we fought for, I think I can say pretty confidently that the thing I fought for the most was making sure that our album didn't blur together.
I wasn't putting up a fight against you because, like, I wanted like a ballad on there myself, because I'm not gonna lie, we got probably just over halfway through writing the album, and I was like, I kind of need a rest from like writing like the same sort of style, like. And I said to Sam, like, because like we knew there was going to be a slow one on the album. I said to Sam, like, I'm taking the slow song. Like, I need to do something different. Like,
yeah.
So
I said 4. I think that might have mischaracterized it. I wasn't fighting against anyone in the band for that. I was just being really annoying and like reminding them, championing the idea.
Oh yeah. Now I get it.
That worked out, I think, because definitely listening to the whole album, it has this changing landscape. Like it's very solid. It is one long thing, but it's not droning. It's not boring. It's not like, oh, I can tune out this song because I've been listening to this intensity for the past 3 songs. It really worked out. So you did good. You did good, guys.
Oh, thank you. Like we know there's gonna be songs that are on the album. They're not for everyone, Like, obviously. I'm not expecting everyone to love the ballad. Like that's obviously a given.
I'm sure someone will love it. It's not going to be everyone.
Yeah, it's going to be Jackson Warrior's favorite.
Somewhere,
Jackson Warrior,
in the depths of a cave somewhere, they will like the ballad.
They're going to be like, you're going to be at the live show, and it's going to be like, oh man, we're going to play like a big banger next, and some dude in the back's going to be like, Silhouette. In addition to the slow one, you also took the big one. You took Avalon there at the end there, Cal.
Yeah, so that wasn't actually like, it wasn't completely intentional. It was like, I kind of had an idea for like, an intro, and it was like at the point where the vocals I intended to come in, it was just going to be about beyond like a minute and a half. So I was just like, this might as well just be, an extended song. I might as well just try and turn it into something like longer. Because I'll be honest, I've never written a song like that before, and I don't know. It's kind of, I learned a lot from it. I'll say that much, because it's hard to keep a constant idea throughout such a long thing while keeping it interesting, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I don't know if it worked, but like, you know, I'm kind of happy with it, and the outro on that song is like absolutely my favorite. I think that's probably my favorite part of the album.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I love the outro of that song. It kind of feels like that's where everything comes together and ties the whole thing up.
Nice. Yeah,
So it's also one of that bit was lyrically one of the most difficult and one of the most rewarding pieces to write on the whole album, because I'm actually astonished listening to the final product of the album that it makes as much melodic sense as it does. And that sounds like a shade on Cal, and it really isn't. It's just like when I first heard that piece, it was obviously like written in sort of MIDI, so there was no expression on the vocal cadences, and they're really long verses essentially. Like that section is essentially 2 very long verses and then a sort of changing more.
Something I wish I changed. I'm not gonna lie. The verses was something I wish I actually changed, but
oh really?
That's done now.
See,
done.
interesting.
It's done.
But because it had none of the expression stuff, it was really hard to write lyrics to. And I just sort of ended up like sitting there for like 3 or 4 sessions of just like sit down, write for 3 hours, bin it all at the end, do it again tomorrow. And the way it sort of came out to me is very, I don't know, it's just very special to me. It's it works really, really well in my opinion. And it's very different to how I thought it was going to come out. But the fact that it's so sprawling and so sort of, I'm not going to call it long-winded in a bad way, but long-winded in a good way. The phrases are quite long-winded. Allowed me to like go back through the album and put in all of those little Easter eggs. Like there are a couple of references to Glint. There's a couple of references to like there's a reference to Silhouette in there. I think might be Silhouette. I can't remember. But like little just repeating words that have been in the different bits of the album, that kind of thing.
It kind of makes it feel like the thesis of the album, I suppose.
Yeah, for sure. Lyrically, Matt, like the whole like outro part after like chorus 3 in that song is just, I think it's phenomenal. Like I really do. It's like literally like top of like the game in terms of like lyrics and melody. I think. You did a great job. You did a great job.
Thank you, Cal.
Aw.
That's so nice.
It's okay.
It's okay.
This podcast has never been this wholesome.
It's never going to get said again, Matt, so don't expect me to have that.
I was going to say, I don't hear this stuff offline.
You guys are British. You're supposed to be like cold and sardonic.
Oh, yeah. We have no feelings. Like, we just... we keep them to ourselves. We're repressed emotionally.
Well, speaking of emotional repression, it must have been necessary to release an album in this climate, to find a label, to get all the marketing, to deal with all that nonsense while apparently raising a child in the background. So as far as I know, this album's been done for quite some time, but it's just getting to this point where it's about to release has been the true test.
Oh my God. It's been there are lots of things we can't say and wouldn't choose to say anyway, but like it has been a nightmare. It has been like just as like one example of something that we can sort of like hint at that happened. And when I say can't say, it's just sort of like business stuff in the background, logistical issues out the wazoo. It's that kind of stuff. But like we signed, so before we were on Scarlet, we signed to a label. I'm not going to tell you who the label was, but we signed to a pretty big label. And we were with them for like 3-ish months, and then we actually had to like call that contract to end because it stopped working for us. We just couldn't work together with them. They wanted certain things, we didn't want to give them certain things. We wanted certain things, they didn't want to give us certain things. And that just, that set us back like sort of maybe 9 months of the process, because we then had to find another distributor. And at that point, like if we'd started out doing self-distribution, before we'd signed that deal, then we would have been able to do self-distribution. But once that deal collapsed, we were planning to release this album like right now, and then doing self-distro at that point would have just been like, it would just like fallen on its face marketing wise, or it would have taken us an extra sort of like 6 or 7 months to get everything in place.
Mm-hmm.
And then Scarlet came to the rescue, and they're like the best thing that's happened to us. They're so good.
It was a strange time, but like, yeah, like Matt just said, Scarlet, like, they have done a great job for us, like, and Angelo and Philip, like, they're really, really actually like great guys.
Angelo is the goat.
Like let us. Sorry.
Angelo is the goat.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like they're happy to just let us pretty much do whatever we want. You know, they're not kind of being like, oh, you know, you have to do this, you have to do that. They let us like make like choices pretty much on like, you know, everything. You know, they want us to keep our artistic integrity, I think is the correct term.
Yeah, I was a bit surprised when you guys signed with Scarlet. I feel like you're not like their typical fare, but maybe they're branching out a bit. I
think I know that Angelo specifically, who's their sort of, I don't actually know what his title is. I won't mistitle him here. But I know that he was more than anything just like so passionate about having us on the label. Like the amount of passion that man brought to the meetings about like exactly what he could do for us, how he wanted to like help us achieve what we wanted. And, you know, fully accepting of the fact that Scarlet's like not the biggest record label in the scene at the moment. But just being like, you know, we want to do this in a way that you are really happy with it, and we'll give you everything that we can to get you to a point where you're happy with us. And
Matt,
that was
although you're saying that,
so nice.
Matt, like, although you're saying that, like, a lot of their videos, they get like a lot more views than like a lot of some like the bigger labels. Like,
I mean, they've been doing really well this year, like this year specifically, and the sort of 6 months prior to us coming on the label, they've really stepped up their game. They're doing super well. Really proud of them.
Awesome,
nice. That's really nice to hear that you have this kind of support from a label, which is what we all hope that labels do in general, but we know it isn't quite like this all the time.
Yeah, we know that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
It's awful when those things happen and they set you back like that and everything falls apart. It's the worst. It makes you question the whole system. Are like, do I want to do all this and go through all this pain? Oh man.
We had a funny old time, didn't we, Matt?
Oh, I can't even begin.
Do you ever think, screw it, we'll just sign up to DistroKid and push the button, get it out there, and call it a day?
Oh, we were close.
We was very close.
Yeah.
Really close.
And it hurts because you know that without the marketing machine, you basically lose your chance sometimes. Like you can reach this much people if you have the marketing power, but that marketing power is so hard to attain by yourself,
especially these days.
And you know that without someone that actually has at least a competent marketing machine, you will just miss the shot and you will be popular within a small bubble without reaching actually the amount of people that you could.
Exactly. It's like, you know, like if you say like efficiency is 100% through putting it through like a competent label, releasing it for yourself, you can probably like put a maximum of like what, 25%?
Yeah, 20-25, I'd say.
Yeah, like I don't know. Yeah, you has to be released in a specific way. Like I think anyway. I mean, you can do it by yourself. Don't get me wrong, but like it takes a lot of time and hard work and money off your hands.
Yeah.
But I guess, you know, the money thing comes into it because then you're giving it to someone else. But you know,
it would also mean that we'd have to do TikTok and pain.
Oh man,
internal pain.
Man, we could have got you dancing to Still Enough.
Kill me.
Oh man.
So leading up to the release here, you guys have done a couple of music videos for Till the Fires Die and Oak and Ash.
Yep.
What was the I guess creative process behind like first picking like those songs as the singles and then the music videos that you guys created for those?
So the Oak and Ash was not Oak and Ash. Until the Fires Die was like we kind of knew that was going to be the lead single for a very long time. it just regardless of like what we think was the best songs on the album, or like we internally think are the best songs, which I think we've heard these songs so many times, is like we don't know what the best songs are anymore. You're a horrible judge. Completely numb to them. Yeah. But we knew that one like summed up the sound to new people the most. It was not something that we thought was we weren't putting it out there for people who already liked Fellowship, but we wanted to put something out there that was like, if you're new to Fellowship, we want to sum up our sound in like the first 5 seconds. And that song did that the best.
The music video doesn't have the little like xylophone or whatever it is at the start though.
Cal was very passionate about not having the xylophone.
Look, I'm passionate. I've got so much passion for that xylophone, like to be put on like the album. Like I love that. I love that. It's like, you know, it just introduces the band like instantly. You know what you're gonna get. It's gonna be silliness like throughout.
Yeah.
But like, not everyone. If we were to put that in the music video, like, it's kind of like, I thought it was going to scare a lot of people off instantly.
That was such a good call as well, because one of the reviews we've had so far, maybe one of my favorite things I've read in any review was like, they essentially said this album was really, really great, except for the first 8 seconds, which was unlistenable garbage. Which was just beautiful.
I was kind of the opposite when I'm like, oh man, I get to listen to the album. This is so sick. It starts with a few seconds of straight xylophone. I'm like, oh, hell yeah. We're going for it.
Yeah.
We're rocking that marimba.
Oh, yeah. Beautiful.
I love that. I love the intro for that. But, like, yeah, it was like, we're going to instantly scare off, like, so many people if we put that on, like, the music videos. We got to drop that.
Yeah. And then Oak and Ash was very different. We had a couple of different songs that we could have done as the second single. I think we wanted to do a like one Cal song, one Sam song, and then Oak and Ash with the video for Fires. So we did that with a production company, because we had 3 weeks from the day we knew we needed a music video to the day of releasing the music video. So we were panic stations.
Yeah.
We were like, we need this now. Find the videos, people. Find someone who could do it. Because I do most of the video stuff for Fellowship. And I made Oak and Ash. But that requires time. And we did not have time.
Yeah.
So, especially as like, obviously I'm working like a full-time job at the same time, and it was a super busy period for me at work anyway. So it was just like a hard no for that one. So we had to do that. We went out to Wales, got very, very cold, filmed that, came back, and then we did Oak and Ash in my shed, which was a lot of fun. And we had to do 2 sessions because Sam was ill for one of them. Yeah.
With the heavy confetti.
Was it intentional to have Sam's face not visible in the first music video?
No, that's literally just his hair. It's just always there.
You literally can't see him at all, like, ever.
Yeah.
I was wondering, are they cutting around that specifically to push his hair in front of his face?
The guys that did the video, like, they must have recorded. So we played the song like through, I reckon, Matt, at least 30 times that day. Like
30 is such a low ball number, Cal.
Okay,
so much more than that.
They must have filmed Sam about like at least about 12 full like playthroughs.
Yeah.
Like they didn't capture one part of his face.
It's amazing.
What the fuck?
Oh man.
So it wasn't like we want him to be all mysterious and whatever. It's like, no, it's literally just his hair.
No, not at all. I mean, I think Sam plays that vibe really well anyway. It suits him, but
yeah,
they're definitely not deliberate.
I want to know about the other video, because it's like you just mentioned they made it just in your shed, and it's like, yeah, it's clearly made in a very small space, but it's so well done. It's so well used. I love the lights, and I gotta be honest, that background that you have sometimes when I first had the video playing like small in my screen, and I thought the background was just pizza. But then I watched it in full screen and oh no, it's a different thing, right?
I know power metal's supposed to be cheesy, but man.
Oh man. Get out of here.
It never occurred to me that it could look like pizza. But now that you've said it, you've ruined it forever. I need to go back and color grade it.
Just like invert the colors, like fuck
yeah,
it.
Just something.
No, but it works. It's nice. Then I open it up. It's like, oh, okay, no, it's like this little ball. Okay, that it's great. It was still interesting, anyways. But I really like how much you could extract from like that. Like it's basically the same shot for everyone. The static shot, that static shot, and it's such a small space, so well utilized. That's really good filmmaking there.
It was literally like it couldn't have been any like smaller. If it was smaller than what it is, it wouldn't have worked.
Mm-hmm.
When I got to Matt's place, because I'd never been to Matt's house, he's just moved like fairly recently. When I got Matt, I'm not gonna lie, I didn't actually tell you this. When I got to your place, I was thinking, this isn't going to work. I'm not going to get my drums in this. I'm not going to get my drums in this space.
Yeah, yeah. I live in a thatch cottage for reference. So everything is tiny.
But like, yeah, like you had it all planned out well, and if it was actually any smaller, it probably wouldn't have worked.
Yeah.
But like, it was the perfect size, and it, you know, the plans you'd made and, you know, organisation of it like worked out because, you know, we had, you can explain like the whole way like the cameras and recording like thing of it works. Do you want to go into detail on that?
I mean, yeah, sure. So, I mean, the process of this was, we had to make all of the like backboards ourselves. So Sam and I spent like maybe 3 days total at my house, like either painting things or cutting things or like just building like as many sets as we could and doing all of this maths on like how to mount this stuff on the wall. And because I've just moved here, I don't really care about destroying the place a little bit. So all of those boards are mounted directly into the wall. There's no like like holders or anything. They're just screwed in. And then from there, like we knew that because we're on a budget with that one. We spent all of our money on the first video, getting another company to do it. And it's not like that video was especially high budget as a video, but, you know, paying for a crew rather than doing it yourselves is like a lot of cost. So we wanted to do this one on a budget and doing it all like static and just putting the camera in like very defined places and making sure that we then could like cut between sort of 8 or 9 different shots. So that's different iterations of shots. So like basically like 2 and a bit per person shots on every different background that we did, allowed us to sort of keep the video relatively fast-paced and fast-moving and match the pace of the song while not just boring people with the fact that the camera doesn't do any motion at all.
I thought it was interesting to have like, you know, like the fastest song on the album, but the music video, it's a static camera.
Yeah, but it's still, as you said, the cuts keep it dynamic, and the fact that you can just cut to anything and it looks like one coherent thing because it's always the same, almost always the same framing and the same-ish backgrounds. I really like the fast cuts near the end where for a couple frames it's the 3 of you.
Oh yeah.
Like, suddenly it's so like
the group shots are fun. Yeah,
it's like
that was an ad-lib thing.
Yeah, it feels like that because it's such a feel-good moment, and you just suddenly see these 3 guys going like, yeah, and I love it.
I'm really sad we couldn't have
so funny
for that, but obviously illness is illness.
We were waiting for the comment to appear to say like, oh my god, they've lost another member. We never got it.
Who's
just do it on your alt account. Then at the end of the video, you have this cute little box with a cute little heart in it.
Yeah,
a very realistic heart.
Yeah, I got that made on Etsy.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, that was surprising because I don't know, I didn't expect it.
Yeah, with that, I just wanted to make sure there was like a theme of some kind in the video, and I wanted the theme to be as close to the song as possible. It's not like lore specific. There's nothing in the lore that's like Heartbox or anything. It's very sort of, you know, a metaphor, but the song is about vulnerability, and it's about sort of bottling things up, and I wanted to make sure that there was at least something that went along with that idea. And keeping one's heart in a box is this metaphor that's been around since, you know, the days of Nirvana, the days of like Chaucer, I think, has something like that. probably not Chaucer. I haven't read the Canterbury Tales in very many a year, but it's an old standing metaphor, and I just wanted something to sort of add a little bit of flavor to it. You know, I don't know if it achieved that, but it was fun painting a little box.
No, I think it did. I think the part that caught us off guard is how realistic the heart looks.
Oh, if it, I'm not doing like a little Valentine's heart in it. That would be horrendously.
No,
cringe.
I know. It's like because I get it, and I've seen other bands do this, not in power metal, but in general. But it's so realistic. It's cool.
I liked it. I liked it a lot. And you know, when you've got lyrics that are very emotionally forwards. And very like on the nose, because my lyrics are very on the nose. You know, here I stand, I've got my heart in hand. You have to do something a little bit surprising or off kilter with the visuals for that. Otherwise, it's just gonna be saccharine. Yeah,
of course. And I gotta say again, in general, these videos are great, and this video it's done so well because as someone that struggles to make video, I can see like how like making this kind of filming work this well with all the little details. Like I really like the what is it? It's like the wood chips flying around.
Confetti. We use
it's confetti. Yeah, flower confetti. Right. Those things It works so well, and it keeps the video interesting because again it's like the same shot, but now we have all the confetti going around, and it's not just an element added there that you downloaded from some website and overlaid, because you can tell that it's real, and it makes it look, I don't know, more dynamic, more interesting, more engaging.
It's not an Action Essentials explosion that wipes in front of the screen, like every who has done.
There's when I don't know when I'm going to do this, but I'll get around to making a little behind the scenes thing, and there are so many shots of me choking on confetti, like because I'm trying to lip sync or sing, and it's just going straight in the back of my throat, and I'm just like,
what is it with you guys and suffocation in your music videos? You have the smoke bombs, now the confetti. Is there something we should know about?
We were using canned atmosphere for the light shots as well. So you know the two like X lights at the back, they don't just look like that when you put a camera on them. You've got to fill the air with stuff called canned atmosphere, or like use a smoke machine, anything like that, to just create the sort of vapor so that they glow rather than just become these like beams. And we had to use so much of this stuff because we were filming that for so long that when we opened the door, we still couldn't really see anything. So yeah, we've really got to like take more care of ourselves. I think the side of this is just a problem with doing all of these videos in like 4 or 5 hours. I think that one was slightly longer. It was maybe an 8-hour shoot, but these are, you know, tiny amounts of time for video.
Yeah,
don't have time to take care of ourselves. We're just got to make them.
When Brad was tipping that confetti out, like, and he just like tipped it all over the floor, we were like, "What are you doing?" Like,
of all Brad's many talents, because he's a very talented guy, Confetti Man is not the talent. He's like, it's astonishing. I didn't know it was possible to be that bad at distributing confetti into a fan.
So we had we had the camera set up like close, and like Matt was like, you know, obviously miming like the final chorus of Oak and Ash. And below the camera, we had like a fan, like going vertically up, and we had like Brad sitting there with a bag of confetti, just like pouring bits on. And I was like giving him like instructions. I was like, okay, a little bit now. And then it got to like the second half of the chorus. I was just like, just tip the whole bag on, just tip it all on. And he's like trying to tip it on, nothing was coming out. It got stuck in the bag somehow. It's like, it's not coming out. Yeah. And then he just tips the whole bag all over the floor, like misses the fan completely.
And obviously, I'm trying my absolute hardest not to just like corpse.
So at that point, like, we collected it all up. We collected all the confetti off the floor, but like, obviously mixed in with that, like, was just like a load of old cottage dust, like, just blended in with the bag.
Yeah, I got hit in the face with a twig in one of the shots.
Wood lice.
Did you use the one with the twig in the video?
No, the twig is not preserved, thankfully.
I like how you guys use the different lights now as your Discord icon.
Oh yeah, that was that was Famke, wasn't it?
Yeah,
I think she changed that.
very Power Rangers-y.
Yeah.
Someone made the Evangelion opening,
Oh,
the
man,
bit
I
in
loved it.
Eva where it goes like do 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 do. They did that with those. It was beautiful.
It's beautiful.
Was that Vitana?
Oh, I missed that. I need to find that.
It's so good.
It's very, very good.
That was Vitana, Vitara, I think.
Yeah, yeah.
Another little bit about the album that I wanted to touch on was the album artwork. I feel like it's very different from your average power metal. It's not just like a dude with a sword and a dragon. It's a massive fucking explosion and rocks. Where did the idea for that come about?
So that was one of the things that when we were discussing what we wanted for the album art, we actually went to the book because the book was pretty much written at that point. I just described the like final scenes of the accompanying novel, and we just sort of went with them. And then we were recommended the artist by the first label we were on, which is Peter Salai, by the way. He did a really good job for us. Really, really nice artwork.
How did we come up with like the actual like imagery though? Like that wasn't that like you suggested that idea, didn't you?
Yeah, it's just the last scene of the book, really. Big old castle being crushed in midair and people falling out of it in front of the sunset. It's a nice little set piece.
So let's dive into the lore in the book here. So I spent the whole I read the whole thing yesterday.
Did you actually? I'm so flattered. Thank you.
So it'd be nice and fresh for this chat today. I guess I don't
want
to get. No, I liked it. It's
good.
quaint. It's got some like creative fantasy things in it. I think it's got like a cute message. I really like the bits where the like actual Fellowship songs appear in universe.
Yeah, that was fun.
Especially, there's a part where one of the characters is like, "Oh man, the Saint Beyond the River is so stupidly catchy." I'm like, "It is." Is Matt patting himself on the back a little bit there?
not deliberately, but like because it has that folk vibe, I wanted to make it in universe a folk song. Like it's just something that one of the characters sings. And knows from their childhood, rather than like a description of what's happening to give some variation. Not every song can be like narrative. Yeah,
some I think chapters are like more connected to the songs than others. Yeah, and one that kind of I thought was interesting was how Glory Days, like that chapter works. It's such a triumphant sounding song, but it's almost like ominous in the context of the book.
I adore as a writer, I just love taking things that are that like really blatantly feel one way. So like the songs like Glory Days and Saints, right? If I take those songs and then in the book turn them on their heads in terms of what their like emotional meaning is, that's I love doing that. It's so good because Glory Days is before a battle rather than like after or during, and then Saints is a moment of tragedy rather than a moment of like happiness.
How much of I'd say this book is like a companion piece to the album, but not really a thing you need. The album itself isn't like super explicitly lore driven. Like you might pick up on bits and pieces here, but it seems like it's more about the emotional side. I had seen some people concerned, like, "Oh, I don't want Fellowship to be a lore band, like a Glory Hammer, and here's the guy who did the thing." It's really not that.
We'll never even come close to that. Never.
It's never going to be that. It's. I think the book, the novel that Matt wrote, it's literally just like if you absolutely love us and you like reading, it's just like an accompanying thing which you're just gonna enjoy. It's not necessary by any means.
Yeah, exactly. I mean? It's there if you want it, and if not, then it has like just ignore it completely. I think for me, one of the reasons I wrote the novel was actually as a writing tool for the lyrics. It's not like we wrote the songs and then I decided to like retcon it into a novel. It was they sort of happened side by side, and for me as someone, we deal with very consistent themes in the book. And I think the best way for me to develop those themes across the songs was to develop them more, just with more words, like more verbosely, in the book, so that I could create this sprawling, like overarching narrative and not have the narrative have to go anywhere near the songs. but then I could still have the songs fit that narrative structure. I could have the songs fit the sort of the emotional arcs of a book and thus of an album, without having to like put character names in or having to put like event titles into the songs or anything. I could make the songs very about the emotions, about the moment, and thus more accessible to people. So if any, like, I know people get concerned about the idea that you would need a book to like understand an album fully, but I think it's actually the other way around. I think the book helped me not do that rather than the other way.
You kind of got all that out of your system in a way with the
exactly. Because it's when you're doing anything even vaguely conceptual, it's so tempting to just go overboard with it. You need somebody to tell you no. You need a way to get that out of your system so that it doesn't like taint or oversaturate what you're trying to do, like music.
Like the actual song for, I guess, like Hearts Upon the Hill isn't about a dude wandering through the forest and dealing with wildlife.
No, it is not. That's probably like one of the least references. Dude comes out of a forest, chances upon a battle. Song.
Yeah. Let me sing about this while I hold on to a tree or something.
Yeah.
Are you guys gonna release the book in a particular way? Is that something you've even determined yet?
It'll be available digitally on release day. So anyone who is lore-minded, just head over to our website, which will be, it's not currently live, but it will be just fellowshipmetal.com. And you'll be able to download the book there for free.
Nice.
Okay, so
very nice.
Maybe we'll do some physical copies if people want them, but I don't know if people want them.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like, it's probably better to do that like on demand if you actually see the demand.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I'm not going to print. Books are expensive to print.
Yeah, they're very expensive.
Yeah, publishing's a whole thing.
Yeah.
Maybe this is just a result of me having like a somewhat early version of the book, but the Oak and Ash chapter has a different name in the version you sent me. Was that
I've not edited it yet. The original name for Oak and Ash was Glimmer to go along with Glint.
Oh yeah.
And then the others were like, you can't call a song Glimmer. Yeah. I don't know why you called the first song Glint. So
I was one of those people like, what does Glint mean?
It works.
Like, it makes sense in context.
Yeah,
sort of.
There we go. Sort of. It's emotionally there, you know. I don't know. I once Glint was like, once I thought of that as like a potential for the title, just nothing else stuck with me after that. And it was really easy to remember. Like, you hear it once and you're like, Glint? What is Glint? But then after that, it's sort of, nobody ever forgot Glint. No one was ever like, what was the name of that Fellowship song? Which was
very
good.
Straightforward name.
Yeah.
But having Glint and Glimmer was like, yeah.
That would have been a little too much, probably.
Yeah. I'm very glad for the presence of the guys, because they don't really like stop me very often. But when they do stop me, I know to pay attention, because they've been really reserved on when they'll choose to go like, Matt, this is too much. Most of the time they'll leave me to my stuff, and I'll like, if it is too much for a bit, they'll be like, yeah, and I'll sort of go back to it and I'll be like, yeah, I'll figure it out myself. I'll figure out what's going overboard, what isn't lyrically or lore wise or whatever. But then when the guys are like, no, that is just stop I know to pay attention, it's a good little system.
Nice. That's a nice dynamic.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, we don't stop you that often, do we? But like, usually when we do, it's like a resounding no.
Yeah, it's a resounding.
It's just like, nah, like.
Yeah. Does this song need a descant? we seem to put descants on basically every song. At the end of the album process, I can't remember who it was. One of us was just like, no, this one doesn't have a descant.
That's Spires, isn't it?
Yeah,
Spires doesn't have one. It's because, like, if it's something to do with, like, the whole melody, it didn't... We couldn't really get anything. We couldn't get anything that was, like, working in terms of, like, adding something to the final chorus. We were just like, yeah, we'll just keep it as a standard chorus.
So since we guys have talked to you last, you have done a little bit of performing live, which is really cool. You guys, I think your first show was Bloodstock last year.
Yep, and then we did,
Yeah, that's right.
and then we did Warhorns. We've not performed as much as we'd have liked. There's been loads of logistical stuff, and our schedules are really annoying. And then obviously COVID was a thing, but
Right.
we've got a Power Metal Quest Fest. That's I
Yes.
think we're all really looking forward to that one. And we'll try and we're not announced that this is not an announcement, but we're gonna try and do some more shows like around that kind of time. So if people are excited for that, we'll do our best to get some get a booking manager or something, you know.
Mm.
Good thing you have a label now.
Yeah, they've been helpful with that. It's so nice. I know that a lot of people are like sort of meh on labels these days, but I can say firsthand that Scarlet have they're really doing their bit.
How have the shows you guys have done been so far? Do you have people who sing along to the songs? I think you played some of the ones from the album that aren't even released yet on those too.
Yeah, it's astonishing how many people know the songs. Like Bloodstock, we that was our first show ever, so we had no idea if people were going to know the songs. And I think people knew Glint. Like people knew Glint. It was wild. We thought like 50 people would sing along to, I mean, not even 50, like a couple of people would sing along to the I've Always Been Worthy bit. And I thought I was going to have to like teach people, and then I forgot to teach people. I forgot to like stop and do the little sort of like, this is how you sing this bit, sort of on stage singer cringe stuff. But people knew it anyway, and just 2,000 people. I think people also picked it up. So maybe, you know, I mean, I think genuinely like 500 people turned up knowing that song.
Nice.
And then I think everyone else just like figured it out really quickly.
It's pretty easy, and you say it a lot.
Yeah. You heard it. You hear it the first time, and then you just you can sing along to it for the other ones.
And then Warhorns, like I barely needed to be there. The crowd knew every word.
Oh damn! It's like you have a Bard song already.
I'll be honest, like sitting behind the drums, like you can't actually see much because like you always have the lights just shining in your eyes, and when you look out to the crowd, it's just like a black pit.
Yeah.
So I can never really tell like how the audience is like reacting to our songs.
Whereas I get too much. I only have white light from the lights on stage, so I can't see them for the opposite reason.
Which unreleased songs did you guys play with those shows?
And so at the time we played
Oak and
Spires.
Scars? Oh yeah, and
Oak and
Fires.
Scars. Matt's making up his own songs over
No.
it.
We did Oak. We've done Scars.
Oh, sorry. I
Separately.
thought you meant Oak and Scars as a song title.
Just mash them
Yeah,
up.
that's this nice little
Scar-
mashup.
So yeah, Oak and Ash and like Scars and Shrapnel Wounds. We did that.
And then Fires.
Like I think I really like playing Scars live.
Yeah.
It's a nice one to play. It kind of just flows quite well. I mean, Oak and Ash is like, it's a really like intense song. It's actually like, I really have to focus when I'm playing that song live because of the speed and like, there's a lot of just kind of more what's the word? It's just harder. It's harder to play on the drums. Like it's the hardest song on the album, I'd say by far. Drum wise, so I really have to focus with that one. But pretty much everything else is just like
Scars is just fun.
Just nice to play.
I think Scars is my favorite too, just because like Glint is the most rewarding to play because hearing people sing that back is a feeling like no other on this planet.
That's the best.
It's the best feeling. But Scars is like it's the one that's the most sort of like we can really have fun with that song. If we think of like power metal has like obviously it has like a difficulty spectrum, and Oak is like very far in one direction. So the process of playing Oak is like much focus, less sort of have fun with it, and then Scars, which it's not like, you know, it's not like it's not difficult, but like the sort of proportion of how much fun we can have with a song is very in the other direction with Scars. So I think we all really enjoy playing that one.
Right. That's very cool that you can, when you have the song that, of course, you need to be able to perform this, but when you have that leeway to just take it away and go, okay, I'm going to loosen up a bit and we can do it and we can make it more fun for everything, that also results in a better show for the people as well.
Absolutely. Glint is, for me, like that's one of the ones where it's just like, you can just have fun. It's just a relaxing, like, nice, easy playthrough song.
Slightly less relaxing on vocals.
Yeah, man, that's that's still
one of the harder ones. Is actually like because we usually open. Well, actually, we do open with Glory Days. Like at the moment, that's kind of a tricky one. Although it's not crazy fast. We don't get much time to warm up because obviously we're not playing. We're not playing massive shows where we get like a big backstage area where we can like, warm up properly. So it's like I don't really get a chance to properly warm up. So it's like we go on stage just like instantly, just like okay, fuck, we're playing like 180 BPM and it's just coming like pretty much straight in with like 16th like double bass and like hands like pretty much non-stop throughout the whole song.
I had to warm up for Warhorns vocally in a men's toilet.
Yeah. That's how it is. Sadly, that's the true life.
It's rough.
It's rough.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what's even harder? Like, I'm using other people's kits when we're playing these shows, and like, I use a trigger, like a drum trigger live.
Yeah.
And when you're using someone else's kit, 90% of the time it doesn't work properly.
Yeah.
That's something I've learned, and I've got an idea to try and fix that for future stuff, but it's so bad when it happens.
We're all really excited to play shows like post album because we're not we're not saying like the shows after this are going to be like massive shows where we're treated, we have our own changing rooms and we have a rider and all that. It's like we're not under any impression of that, but like because people will have a bit more of they'll know the band more, we'll be bigger, we'll have an album out and stuff. We might not have to warm up in the toilets and stuff. We might have 5 minutes on stage where we're not setting up our own equipment and we can really like bring the best show possible. And I think we're all like super pumped about that.
Yeah, I think the video for Fires was doing pretty decent numbers like on Scarlett's channel. So I think more people are discovering it.
Yeah, I mean, Fires was so good. Absolutely. It's like 200K. It's crazy.
This is like what I was saying like earlier when we were saying about like in terms of record labels and like numbers, like you can look at some like the bigger labels and like the genre. I'm not going to name names, but you can look at some of their releases and like they're not getting anywhere near like the sort of numbers of like like Scarlett. They're not obviously as big as these labels, but clearly they're doing something differently, or maybe they're investing more in like putting bands forward in terms of advertising. Mm. So I just think they're doing a great job with everything they're doing.
There's always the whims of the algorithm.
We always get the whims of the algorithm is a big yikes. Good lord, I can't wait till the algorithm is replaced by something better. But we get copied into a lot of PR emails from Scarlett, and we have a lot of email.
Nice.
They're doing this stuff. There's this one guy they've emailed who calls us suckers, and we get emails from him all the time. He's this Italian guy.
He's like, "What's up, suckers?"
Yeah, it's like, "What's up, suckers?"
He called us bastards. He's like, you bastards.
He's just this Italian guy who's
term.
He's so passionate and he loves he loves Fellowship. And he's like, hey what's up, bastards? How you doing? It's really weird.
If he listens to this, I just want to say, man, I love you, sucker.
Good fans. That's nice.
Yeah, it's nice to hear that the label folks are fans of you, even if you are bastards. All right, maybe I'm getting ahead of myself here, but now that album 1 is pretty much in the bag, what's next? You gotta look at the future here. Album 2, let's go. Where is it?
Come on, guys. When album 2? When album 2?
Yeah.
I mean, I reckon I could probably estimate a time for when album 2 would be done by.
Don't do it.
Possibly.
Don't do
if you say if you say you will burn yourself, you will destroy it. Don't do it.
You said album 1 was Christmas 2020.
I know.
I didn't.
No,
that was Matt.
Was that you? Oh, okay.
I had to keep messaging Matt saying, stop telling people it's going to be out at this time because it definitely isn't going to be.
I mean, in fairness, when that happened, that was like the day before COVID or something. Like that was just before COVID happened. And then, everything went to hell. Because we were on such a roll then.
Okay, I'm gonna give you a rough estimate on when it could be done, because we've probably got like I don't know how far Sam is in, but I've probably got about 2 songs that are like 95% done.
Ooh, nice.
For album 2, I guess. I don't know what Sam's been up to. I know he was working on some things, but
I've heard
I
one
don't know.
of them,
I don't know which that's one.
and one of the songs that Sam has in the back, oh my god, I adore that song. I really hope we can find a way to put it on album 2.
Are you gonna have like your like one obligatory song on albums from here on out, Matt?
Oh, I wouldn't say anything's obligatory. It's I don't even know if I would have enough time to write it. If I'm making music videos and stuff, who knows? I know Brad wants to do some stuff. I'll definitely put some songs in, but ultimately the stuff that makes it onto the albums is what we collectively feel matches the albums. I'm sure there'll be albums when I have 1 song, might be one when I have 2, there might be songs when I have none, because it's at the end of the day, it is all about what goes on the album and what makes that collection of songs feel like a collection of songs. I'm very passionate about the idea that it has to justify being an album. Like in the modern day, we could get by, we could do super well just releasing single after single after single after single. Or probably do better for us. So if we're going to do albums, they gotta justify being albums. Sorry, that was a really serious answer to a not serious question.
Yeah, I was thinking like,
love that answer.
Where is he going with this?
Yeah.
Where's he going?
What am I doing?
I love that answer though. I love it because that's something that bothers me greatly about metal. That everyone demands an album out of any band at any point, and then bands are kind of forced of releasing an album, and then you hear an album that has 2 great songs, 2 mid halfway done songs, mandatory bad ballad, a mandatory long song that's bad, an intro track that everyone will skip, and it's like you could have done those 2 songs only greatly, and then spend some months and then do another 2 great songs again, and everyone would be happier.
Yeah. I know exactly what you're saying, and I hear it all the time. I'm not going to name names, but I hear it regularly.
Yeah, one of my biggest pet peeves in not just in metal, but like in all music, is when somebody releases what they call an album, and it's like 5 songs with a bunch of like filler between it.
Exactly. Exactly.
Either in the form of like sort of interludes and stuff, and I think you can do concept records with interludes and stuff. You can do some really cool stuff with that, but most of the time when you're doing that, like you're just wasting time, and it's not good. Yeah,
because the few people actually put in the effort to make all of those tracks like matter to make a greater full experience. Like it has to make the sum of all the songs better than each of them. And a lot of times it's like, what is this? You just open the your latest VST library of orchestra and started putting some notes there and called it an interlude, which is like adding nothing to it, and I hate that.
It's a weird mixture of like filler and pretentious at the same time.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I will say I have a soft spot for overtures though, but only when they come like in addition to.
Where it like sums up the album with like the different little bits. Like that's, you can get away with that, I feel like. I think
I consider
Nightwish's
that
Imaginarium has a good one.
Yeah, I consider that generally like bonus material, unless it's unless the whole form of the whole album leads me to that being part of the vocabulary of the album.
Spires does that in like all of their albums.
Well, yeah,
which I just kind of fits their vibe.
But I also think that Spires has a pacing problem with their albums as well.
Well, yeah, that's a different thing.
Yeah, but I like their individual songs, of course.
I don't know much about that band, but I really like the song called Succumb.
It's so beautiful.
That's a big one.
Such a great song. I love it.
Yeah.
Oh.
They do a nice little thing in the chorus, which like not many people do.
The whole song is so cool. How it's written and how it's performed and everything. It has a little. I think it has the metric changes between the verses and the chorus, and
it goes like 3/4, doesn't it, in the chorus, if I remember right? And so the verses are in 4/4 again.
It's also one of those songs where they've taken like a really sort of big concept and then they've written most of the lyrics about a small like part of that concept, which to me feels really like in tune with the music that they've written for it, and that just makes me very like happy. Nice.
Yeah, when we were talking about their most recent album, Adrian like put up a whole like lore thing on their website, I guess kind of reminiscent of the novel that you made, so you can kind of see the similarities there.
So I love Seven Spires tangents. I hope we have more of them in all our episodes now.
We bring them up a lot, but it's been relevant, so fuck it.
Yeah.
So just going back to your question earlier, Kyle.
Yeah.
I think album 2 is going to be you can expect probably more. Yeah, it's going to be like the Fellowship style that like you know and love, but I think we're going to take a more defined approach because there's things we could have done differently on album 1. I'll say that, which we were just like, okay, this needs to be. It needs to be, you know, we need to get this thing done. It's so close to being finished. There was things that we could have done differently, I think, and we overlooked them because we just didn't have the experience at that point. But I think with album 2, there's gonna be things that are gonna be done differently. And I'll say album 2, I'm gonna say it's not gonna be as long as album 1.
Yeah.
That's understandable.
Yeah.
Perfectly understandable.
Yeah, it took too long. It just took too long.
we were frothing at the mouth trying to get the last year, literally the whole year of the last like bit of album release that we were just dying to get it out, and it was so painful that we couldn't find a way to get it out sooner.
Because like that behind the scenes thing you guys did was what, September, and you're like, oh, the album's done.
Yeah.
And here we are in July of the next
year. And at
year.
that point, like
it was silly.
It just got silly. It was like I use this phrase internally, but it was like fighting God. It was like everything that could have gone wrong, totally beyond our control, went wrong, and we had to pick up. I'm not, and we had to pick up the pieces internally and do things that we internally shouldn't really have had to do at any point, in order to like fix it and get back on track and do the next thing and get to the next person who can help us and stuff like that.
The amount of times I said to you, like, I'm not having a go at you, and like, because like, it was in our Discord, like the private one. I remember saying to you like countless times, like, I really, really feel like we shouldn't have to do this, and I'm going to have to disagree with you, Matt. Like, but I'm not even actually like disagreeing or arguing with you because it's not your thing.
Yeah.
You know, what we should even be like discussing.
Yeah.
It was something that it shouldn't have happened. It was out of our control, but we had to try and figure our way like around a certain obstacle. And it was just like every single time we were like, oh, this is going to work. We've got something like, you know, we're going to have the album out by this date. It was like, oh, God's sake, like there's another thing now. There's another issue we've got. And it just kept going on and on like that.
Yeah. If there's if there's anything that I think we can like really hope for album 2, it's just that it's a little bit easier. Not easier writing wise, just like we would just like to really be able to focus wholly on the music. Because this album, like, I love this album. I'm so unbelievably proud of this album. But the thing that really excites me is that, like, this is an album where we also had to focus on other things. Imagine a Fellowship album where we can focus wholly on making the best album we can. And that to me is like so exciting because I don't think we're at peak yet. And I might regret saying this. People might be, 2 years, people are like, oh, Fellowship, they peaked at 1.
Oh man, their first album was good and after that it was trash.
Yeah, everything else after was bad. Say anything Mark 2. But like, no, it's I really think that we haven't hit our peak. And that we can achieve even more.
Yeah, so now that you're established, you've learned all kinds of fun things, hopefully be a lot smoother from here on out. Knock on all the wood.
Don't have to re-sign, at least for the next album. It's beautiful. It's so nice.
That's great.
Hey, look, Fernando and Kyle, like, and actually Matt, like, everyone here, future stuff that you're looking forward to in power metal, like, are there any like albums you guys looking forward to like hearing?
I really want to hear Mark Hudson's solo album, actually.
Yeah, that's an interesting one. Actually, that's meant to be like a sort of like anime style thing, isn't it?
Yeah, I heard some of the teaser tracks. I don't even know if it's out, but I heard some of the teaser tracks a while ago, and I was like, "That's cool. That's different. That's not Dragon Force." And I'm not saying anything bad about Dragon Force. I'm just like, I was expecting it to be Dragon Force, and it wasn't, and it was like something
Oh
else.
yeah,
And I was like, "Oh,
he's not a songwriter though.
cool.
Is he? He doesn't write the stuff in
I
Dragon
don't think
Force.
so.
I don't
No,
think, does he?
No,
it's yeah."
I might be wrong.
no, he doesn't. The Dragon Force is all written by Sam and Herman by now.
Yeah, that's
Well,
what
in
I thought.
general, there were some songs that were written by their previous bass player, by Fred, but he's out of the
Oh
band.
yeah, he did
Fred did
Symphony of the
some.
Night. Symphony of the Night. That's my favorite
Yeah,
song by them.
That's Sam's favorite song as well, I think.
It's one of my top
I
songs.
played that at my uni. Like when I was at uni, that was like one of my like final performance songs. I got a good mark for that one.
Nice.
I know Vadim, back when he was in the band, wrote a little bit. I think he did like
Yeah,
Souls Lost and Endless Time or something.
yeah, but he was more like filling in everything around what Sam wrote.
Yeah. Mostly Sam, though.
Yeah, it's
As
mostly
for what
Sam.
I'm looking forward to, like, New Blind Guardian is obviously at the top of my list. Like, I had them in my top 4. It's been so fucking long since they've done, like, a proper album that I'm just here for anything.
Did you like the single?
Fair enough.
Yeah, I've loved all the singles so far.
Nice.
The last one, I think, might be my favorite at this point, but I kind of come and go on that.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I don't know.
Hey, what do you guys think of? What do you think of Stratovarius' new stuff?
Oh, I didn't
I liked
listen
the
to
first
that.
single. I wasn't as big on the second.
I haven't listened to that, and I should. I should listen to those singles.
What's the name of the latest one? I listened to that like yesterday. I think. I
Something to
wasn't
do with
crazy
fire.
about it. Yeah, World on Fire. World of Fire. World on Fire.
I
Is that
listened
a
to the
is that a
first one they
Devon song?
released. Like they released it on the day that we did Fires, I think, as a video.
World on
and
Fire. Here we go.
I want to set the universe.
First
on
song.
fire.
Yeah, that's a Stratos song.
Yeah.
yeah, my favorite by them.
I need to listen to those singles because I saw Stratovarius live in 2019. I was so good. They were so good live that I hope the new songs are good.
Yeah, I saw Stratovarius live like the night that the first single came out, and we're all wondering like, oh, I wonder if they'll play that song. And they mentioned we haven't actually learned it live yet, so next time.
I really like going to a live show and hearing other new songs by a band that hasn't been released, like Blangarden did with the first new song, or just going to a new band and finding something new live, because I really like when bands first bring their songs to the stage and then crystallize them to record, which is a very old school thing. But I really like that when it works like that.
Yeah, when I saw Galnerius a few years ago, they played Glory from at the time upcoming album I think it was the first time live at that show. So it's just something that makes it feel like a little extra special.
Yeah.
While you're there.
I wonder quite a lot actually if the fact that we can now actually play live shows, because COVID it's not like over, but you know it's better than it was, will actually impact our songwriting and will impact the studio stuff, because we you know we
do you think like, oh, this is a moment where
that.
the crowd will do X or whatever?
Yeah, like before it was all theory crafting, you know. And now we might actually sort of get to see it a bit, which would be cool.
Yeah, but I would say try not to fall into a trap there. You should use the studio while having maybe a version that's like, maybe you change some arrangement to play it live, but don't feel constrained in the way you write.
Yeah.
In that sense, because I know that sometimes bands might go like, okay, we're going to play live a lot, so we'll write our songs based just on what we can do live in with our members, and maybe don't take some liberties on the studio that might make the songs better in studio. I think that's fine to do. And
yeah, I do agree. I personally love it when songs are different live anyway. Like I love it when there's like a slightly different arrangement of a song live, or like the end of, I think it's Valhalla.
Yeah.
Where live it just goes on and on and on, and it becomes this like audience song. Whereas in the studio version, it's not that at all.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, or sometimes when like a song maybe like fades out on the album, but then you just do like a different like more explosive outro for the live version, because
Yeah, that
fading
kind of
out live is kind of lame unless you like make a joke out of it, like Hannah War or something.
We should all avoid fade outs anyway.
Yeah, that's another thing.
You heard it here first, Cal. No fade outs on albums.
No fade outs.
Look, I don't ever want to fade out. Look, I like a big ending. You know me.
You do
know
like
me,
a big
Matt.
ending.
Come on.
There we
You
go.
like to change the song completely for the ending. It's your favorite.
So do you consider the end of Avalon a fade out, sort of?
Not really. Nah. I mean, like, not really. No. It has a specific like. This is the end, doesn't it? I think so anyway.
You put an orchestra
Like-
hit at the end. Just to, it's just do 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 do. Dumb. You really had to like smack it.
Right, here's the period at the end. There it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. No, we don't have any fade outs. I don't think we ever will.
No, I don't. It doesn't
that's
suit
just
the
not our
music.
scene.
Like,
No.
it wouldn't feel fellowshipy, I think.
Yeah, and it always feels like a cop out. Like you couldn't figure out how to finish this sentence, so you just loop
Exactly.
it and fade out. It's like
It feels like you're cheating. It's like you have to like. For me, there has to be a certain thing, like a certain time. Like this transition has to be good. Everything has to be good, and it has to make sense in a certain way, and it has to end and start in a certain way in a song. For me, anyway.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
It has to fit and make sense.
One of the other things I wanted to not forget to ask about, you have a side project of sorts called Power Force, where you do your fun little covers. Didn't forget about that one.
Wow. Blast from the past. Sam, that's just me and Sam like messing around. We had some like we did the cover as Fellowship, and then we were like, we just sort of Sam and we had like some more ideas to do covers, and we were like, yeah, let's do it. Got a logo made, and we just sort of did it for a bit, and then the album, like behind the scenes Fellowship stuff, just became like way too intense to keep doing that. We actually have another song that we did, that at some point we'll get around to finishing. We haven't really got much news on that, to be honest. If you want something interesting like side project thing, it's not really a side project. It's a Fellowship project. But we might have some sort of piano-y things coming out soon. That'd be cool. More on that later when they're like done and stuff. But that's like in the works. That might be cool. See if they're good enough. But
so,
just like Lucas
so
Ferrer.
much teasing with new stuff.
so much teasing.
Yeah, I want to see if you guys have other little things you'd want to promote, either for your own projects or any your buddies or whoever else.
Not really. Like I'm gonna say I'm really looking forward to hearing like Twilight Force number 4.
Oh yeah.
Like I can't wait for that. I don't know when that's gonna be out, but I've loved everything they do. Obviously, you guys know that.
Yeah. I love their third album, so really looking forward to this next one.
Third album, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think who else is
I think Battleborn is supposed to have an album at some point here, aren't they?
Yeah, literally, they just came to my head. I was just thinking, like, I think they're doing an album, but I'm not sure when. Maybe they're doing it right now. I'm not sure, but like
they've finished their album.
If they are,
they've finished
that.
the recording process. I think they're just mixing now, and they're just trying to like collect everything together.
Hey, they're great live. Like they played Bloodstock, and like they were like really good.
They were so good live. They're such nice people as well. Really love the Battleborn guys.
Oh yeah, yeah. We were like waking up at like 8 o'clock in the morning, like cracking a beer with those guys, like sitting like around the tents. Like it's good times.
Well, Cal was sitting around the tents. Me and Sam and I, who are not outdoor people, like neither me nor Sam coped with camping. We were just like hiding inside, or like just sort of crumpled in balls while Cal was like cracking a beer at 9 a.m.
Classic British metal festival. Tents and tins at 8 in the morning.
Tents and tins. I guess like I don't know, Matt. If you got any other, is there anything like any bands on your mind that you can think?
No, not really.
Any others?
No, I do have side projects and stuff, but none of them are really ready to release. Nothing musical either, so it's kind of irrelevant. No one would care at all. So yeah, no, just I don't know, buy the album. Yeah, buy the album. Buy the album.
The Saberlight Chronicles coming out on July 15th.
July 15th,
right?
yeah.
Okay. That'll probably be around the time this episode is out. I'm sure if anyone's listened to this episode for this long, they've probably heard the album. But if not, they should definitely go listen to it.
Definitely.
Buy a shirt if the shirts are still available.
There will be new shirts.
New shirts, oh boy.
There will be new shirts. I mean, hopefully by the 15th. We hope. Well, they're in the post. They're coming.
Oh, sick.
But yeah, we have new shirts.
Awesome.
Awesome.
I'm wearing my Corry
you, look,
shirt. At
I'm
the
gonna give you an estimation on album 2 when it's going to be done. I'm going to say 1 year from now. 1 year from now.
You heard it here first, folks.
But no, listen. It's not going to be out by then. I'm telling you, it's going to be written by then.
Okay.
That's a lot easier.
Okay.
That's my estimation.
You're still playing with fire, I think. But
Oh yes. Oh yes. You just triggered like more COVID with that statement. I'm sure.
Oh man.
Please.
All right. So I guess we can wrap up this episode. It was great to have you guys again after this long.
Thank you guys. Thank you. Like it's been nice, like you guys having us again.
Yeah, it's always been really, really nice to talk to you guys. And I mean, thank you for talking about us. Thank you for all the nice things you said about the album. Yeah, it's just been a really good time.
Thank you for taking the time.
Thank you for being nice blokes and making great music.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Cheers for that.
Cheers to that.
Cheers to everyone. So everyone that's listening, go listen to Fellowship. Go listen to the Saberlight Chronicles. Go buy the merch. Buy the album. Do whatever. If you are in the UK, see if you can catch a show. And I guess that's it. And for the show, you can I guess you're listening to us already, but you can follow us on Facebook as Powerful Podcast, on Instagram as Powerful Podcast, or Twitter as Powerful PM. And I guess that's it. If you really like the show and want to support us a bit, you can find us on Patreon as well. We will only charge on the months that we actually release an episode, and you can contribute with just $1. It's perfectly fine. It helps a lot. And I guess that's it. Thank you, guys. Could you please send off our audience with our traditional stay powerful, a nice stay powerful from you guys to everyone.
Do we have to line this up? Do we have to try and do it at like the same time?
I will not be able to.
It will not go well if you try.
I can do it later, but just go.
Guys, look, listen. Just look. If you're not staying powerful, you're just kind of weak, and you're so you need to keep it powerful. That's it. That's it from me.
Stay powerful. There you go.
Perfect.
Hell yeah.
Perfect. Thank you, and stay powerful, everyone.
Thank you, Fernando and Kyle. You guys are great. Love you guys. Love anyone that's listening to this. Great. Thank you. We love all the support for you guys. Honestly, it will help.
Thank you.
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 It will